We're here in Cincinnati, Ohio for Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. Great American Ballpark. Pirates fell yesterday, Labor Day, to the Redlegs, and they have struggled this season against the National League Central Division, as you know. Pirates got some help last night from the Chicago Cubs beating the Cardinals, or did they? They're still 5.5 back, but the Cubs, look out, just 2 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk looking for a win tonight for the Pirates, get back on the winning track. And we take a look at Aramis Ramirez. That's the big story today, making his first career start at first base. Bob, this is an opportunity really for Ramirez to get that bat in the lineup and allow Jung Ho Kang and Jordy Mercer to play on the left side. That's really what this is all about.
Exactly. And, it's not like the defense at first base has been all that great this year, so just about whatever he does over there will probably be at least as good as what's been going on. So, I think it's a no-lose situation as long as you get that bat going from Ramirez, and it's been going. He's been doing a great job ever since he came over here, especially with the run production, the RBIs. It's just been amazing seeing how much gas he really has left in that tank of his.
He's hit 3 home runs on this road trip, so Aramis Ramirez makes his first career start at first base. Meanwhile, the Pirates see the Cuban defector, Raciel Iglesias. He's pitched well this season, his rookie year.
Hey, he's really got on a roll in the month of August. You could say he's been outstanding, so he could be on the tough side this evening. I think we're going to have to kind of have a battle on our hands. Might be another low-scoring game like yesterday.
One of his wins against the Pirates. Meanwhile, looking for his first career regular season win against the Reds is Francisco Liriano. The lefty takes the hill against the Redlegs. Coming up next. Pirates and the Reds. Francisco Liriano making his way in from the bullpen alongside his battery mate, Francisco Cervelli. And we take a look at his season split after the essentially the All-Star break. He's not necessarily pitched as well, Bob, but he's 3-1 since July 29th.
Yeah, the one that kind of concerns me a little bit is the opposition batting average, but that there could be some underlying reasons for that. On the defense, you can never really tell exactly what's going on just by that number alone. So, what I really like to see from Francisco tonight is get some chases, get some guys swinging at bad pitches. That's always been what we've seen from Francisco when he's pitching well. He does get that pitch count up there quite a bit because that's what he does. He gets guys to chase a lot of pitches, goes deep in the count, gets a lot of strikeouts. So, hopefully that'll be the case tonight. Don't get too deep into those counts, but get those strikeouts up, and maybe that'll help out that opposing batting average also. Not so many balls put in play.
He hasn't gone double digits in strikeouts since July 23rd. We go back to the studio. Rob King in a game break. Kid again as he makes this switch from third base to first base after 2,096 major league games at third base, including 2,078 starts. He moves over to first base. We'll check out the rest of the Toyota starting lineup. It'll be Gregory Polanco leading things off for the Pirates, and then Starling Marte and Andrew McCutchen. Ramos Ramirez hitting over 300 this season against the Reds. Jung Ho Kang will follow. Then Neil Walker, Francisco Cervelli, Jordy Mercer hits 8th, and Francisco Liriano on the mound. Gisel Iglesias.
Take a look at his numbers on the season, and they're pretty darn good. Not bad at all for the youngster, but what I think is more important than the numbers there are the numbers lately, and they're much better. So he's really been doing a good job for the Reds, and looks like he's solidifying a position for next year. Look at his opponent batting average, 217. That's outstanding.
Defensively, Jay Bruce in right field. The defense brought to you by Honda. Jason Bourgeois is in center. Adam Duvall in left. Todd Frazier, Eugenio Suarez on the left side. Brandon Phillips alongside Joey Votto, and Brian Pena catches tonight's game. Tucker Barnhart was behind the dish yesterday. Billy Hamilton activated off the disabled list, but not in the starting lineup. Speedster. Underway, a strike is called. .89 degrees at game time. Polanco hitless in 4 at-bats yesterday, including a couple of strikeouts. And it's 0-2. Pirates need to get the bats going here, Bob, in Cincinnati. They're just hitting a .212 at Great American Ballpark.
It's hard to understand because Cincinnati, their problems this year was the pitching. I mean, that's a change from 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They had outstanding starting pitching. Well, they don't really have that anymore. It's been very inconsistent this year. They've had to turn the entire rotation over. And this is a great hitter's ballpark. You mix all those things together, and why aren't we hitting here? Should be hitting, not only hitting, but hitting home runs in this ballpark.
A big reason why the Pirates this year are 2-6 against the Reds in Cincinnati. They went 3-6 here last year and didn't hit much. 1-2 count on Polanco. 25-year-old Raisel Iglesias, the Cuban defector, one of a handful of young Reds pitchers to make their major league debuts. This rookie rotation. We'll see another rookie tomorrow, Kevis Sampson. We saw Anthony DeSclafani yesterday. And Joey Votto will make the pick to retire Polanco. 1 up and 1 down. Second time the Pirates have seen Iglesias this season. Polanco struggling again on this road trip. Hitting under $150. On the trip that started in Milwaukee, the Pirates were swept in 3 games. They won 2 of 3 in St. Louis, but a real disappointing game yesterday. Starling Marte did not start. Was a pinch hitter and struck out to end the ball game.
You're in a situation now where it's win every night type deal. Really, we've been in this situation for a while.
Well, that's hit well to right center field. Wow, that was a pretty looking swing right there. Laced into right center field for Marte, and there was a slight bobble, and initially he wasn't going to third. Now he does, and he reaches third base. And watch the bobble by Bourgeois off the wall, and he gets the extra 90 feet.
I wonder if that cost him a triple. If he was, going hard all the way, they would probably give him a triple. But I'm wondering if the official score is going to give him a double and an error because he slowed down.
Yep. This is the error, but if he keeps going, he wouldn't have needed the bobble.
You're going to see it right there.
Yep.
He started to slow down, then he saw the bobble, picked it back up, and the official scorer saw that he was going to stop. So gave him an error, but a good job, from a team perspective, getting himself into third base with 1 out.
27 doubles. Infield comes in with McCutchen at the plate.
Maybe he's trying to build the doubles up there.
I'm sure. The infield in with 1 out here in the very first inning. 3 batters in, and McCutchen at the plate. Well, McCutchen should take this as quite a challenge. An RBI 90 feet away in the infield in. He's got 85 ribbies for the season, but he's been stuck on 85 for a bit now.
Phillips trying to take away the middle of the infield. Essentially kind of having a little bit of a shift with the infield in. One ball, 2 strikes. McCutchen hasn't driven in a run since
his 3-run homer in the 2nd inning in Miami on August the 26th. That was his 4 RBI game. Gave him 85 for the season, but he has not driven in a run since. And with the infield in, Marte seen 90 feet away. Frazier hugging the line and hugging the bag. Iglesias thought he might have gotten McCutchen there. Didn't get the call.
See, this one was pretty darn close, but just an absolute smidgen off the plate. When they're that close, they can go either way.
Brian Price, manager of the Cincinnati Reds. Wow.
That was
2 pitches. That one was there.
Yeah, that one just a little bit closer. I mean, the other one is kind of a flip coin ball, but this one there was no doubt it was going to be called. See it just sitting right there. Almost the entire baseball got inside the strike zone.
Well, Iglesias gets McCutchen looking, and now Ramos Ramirez with 2 outs in the infield, of course, can get back. Ramirez did not play yesterday. The first baseman tonight. High strike called. 333 road trip. His numbers with men in scoring position. Oh, and 2. Rivers Casino tips to win.
Home run, Greg. That's the box I want him to check. So never hit a home run other than a third baseman or a DH. He'll get his first one as a first baseman. And careful with Frazier. Frazier is surrounded by hitters in that lineup that do not have very good numbers against Francisco.
Wow. Not good.
Right.
A runner at third, infield in. McCutchen strikes out looking. Ramirez strikes out swinging. Bad start. Francisco Liriano. Here's Cincinnati's lineup. Jason Bourgeois leads things off. Eugenio Suarez and Joey Votto. Votto career .335 batting average versus the Pirates. .294 hitter this year. Brandon Phillips hits cleanup. Todd Frazier, Jay Bruce, Adam Duvall, the rookie, Ryan Pena, and Raisel Iglesias.
Take a look at Francisco's numbers. They're brought to you by Hyundai. Everything in pretty good shape. The one thing where we've talked about it already tonight is the earned run average, which was well down in the low 2s, has started to creep up this second half of the season. But still outstanding numbers when you take them all together. He has pitched in a little bit of bad luck. He should have more than 9 wins.
Umpires. Popped up toward right. And easy for Polanco. 1 down. Ramos Ramirez is at first base. Neil Walker at second. Jordy Mercer, Jung Ho Kang on the left side. Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, Gregory Polanco in the outfield, and Francisco Cervelli behind the plate. Really historic that Ramirez makes this start. Talking to the Elias Sports Bureau, they tell us that only 6 players in Major League history made their first 2,000+ career starts at one position before switching to another.
That is pretty amazing.
The last player to do it was Omar Vizquel. Vizquel in May of 2009, after starting some 2,568 games at shortstop, moved to third base. Pirates dugout, Reds dugout, giving him some grief over there. 0-2 the count. And a check swing. No, appeal says he went. That's Bill Welke, the first base umpire. Barrel Automotive League leaders, most innings played at third base in National League history. How about that? Mike Schmidt, Eddie Matthews, Ron Santo, and Aramis Ramirez. Tim Wallach behind Aramis Ramirez.
He could be in. He'll get some Hall of Fame votes.
Yes, he will.
You look at all these things, that, career numbers.
I mean, just look at that list.
He's in top 5 with so much stuff.
Including home runs as a third baseman. 1 ball, 1 strike on Votto. What's going on there, Bob? What's Votto doing? He does some unusual things.
Messing with us.
He really does. He does some unique things at the plate at first base.
He's a unique player.
Yeah, he is.
Definitely two-way guy. Outstanding on defense. One of the best hitters in baseball.
And he gets hit by the pitch. Votto is aboard.
Oh, it's a Pirates-Cincinnati game, but that's somebody getting hit in the first inning. Can't have one of those, can you?
It's been kind of unusual for the Pirates, really. They have not hit many hitters lately. Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Over the last 3 seasons, Pirates pitchers hitting 34 Reds batters, including 9 this season. Reds pitchers have hit 32 Pirate batters, including 6 this season. Well, Joey Votto will be giving Ramos Ramirez some tips how to play first base.
Well, first of all, you have to do a lot of talking over there. You can't be a first baseman unless you like to talk a little bit.
One thing, Bob, Ramos Ramirez did not move. Standing there on that last pitch, didn't move as he's holding Votto.
He doesn't want to get picked off. He's afraid if he jumps off there, the ball will come to him.
See if he changes a little bit. Yeah, there he does. But that first pitch.
You think he forgot to move?
Must have. He just stood there.
Well, he might be late getting off there for sure, because he's going to make sure that ball's going home before he takes his eyes off.
2 pitches ago, this was the pitch to the plate.
Yeah, he forgot. He forgot. Oh. Yeah, you got to face the hitter. Jump off there. There's a lot of little tricks. You got to remember to move.
That's one.
You know, you saw too after that first pitch, Votto was talking to him. He's just going back. Wonder if he was telling him, "Hey, you got to jump off."
He might have. Ground ball, base hit into left field for Brandon Phillips.
Oh, hit hard through that hole.
Brandon Phillips hitting .375 against Pirates pitching this season.
Phillips turning on that one. That ball was smoked. I see ground balls hit that hard. That should be classified as a line drive.
Now Frazier, one of Bob's tips to win regarding Todd Frazier.
Well, he's got very good numbers against Votto, very good numbers against Phillips, very good numbers against Bruce. Frazier's the only guy that in the past has hit him.
Did he go? Deal. This time no. Bill Welke. James Hoy behind the plate. Las Diaz at second. John Tumpain at third. Take a look at the ranks in the National League this season for Todd Frazier. He's struggling this second half. The All-Star. National League, the Home Run Derby winner here in Cincy. A fly ball toward McCutchen. And a couple of men left on base for the Reds. So Francisco Liriano hits a man, gives up a single to Phillips, and Frazier flies out. It is 0-0 after one.
Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Headed the second here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Pirates and the Reds. Always see Pirates caps, jerseys, black and gold. They were disappointed in that 3-1 loss yesterday. The Pirates have lost 6 of their last 8 and really have to, in Clint Hurdle's words, he often says, have to put a foot down. Pirates have to do that. Ball one on Jung Ho Kang.
Just win every night.
Yep.
There's no reason to even talk about, what are you going to do in a series? Take 2 out of 3, this or that. It doesn't matter. And it's not just the Cardinals. You got to look behind you now too.
Mm-hmm.
If we do end up with a wild card, you certainly want it at home. So it's going to be win at all cost every night.
2-1 count on Kang. Iglesias falls behind 3-1, struck out McCutchen and Ramirez to end that first inning threat. A lot of strikeouts for this rookie his last 3 times out. Now he will field this ball and throw out Kang. One up and one down. Neil Walker coming to the plate. We want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag #PitDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag #PitDataStrongFan. More Pirates fans on hand. Here's Neil Walker. Walker 2 for 4, had an RBI yesterday. A 3-game hitting streak going for him, and he's batting .333 on this road trip.
Yeah, Greg, yesterday a little bit I was talking about having to, generate some intensity, talking about the way things were in Milwaukee, where there wasn't very many people at the ballpark. It was kind of quiet, not a whole lot going on, and we got swept. And then in St. Louis, it was almost like a playoff atmosphere. It was jammed all around the ballpark, people everywhere, full houses, all kinds of noise. Just the craziness and the intensity level, the electricity was very high, and Pirates won 2 out of 3. Now you're back into playing a team that's out of it, like in Milwaukee. You don't have much of a crowd, kind of quiet. You got to kind of generate your own intensity, your own excitement. Yeah, they're keeping that strikeout ball.
Gives him 100 strikeouts.
Wow, you think he'd be more confident than that? Keeping number 100?
Strikeouts in his rookie campaign. His last 3 starts, he has struck out 13, 10, and 10. Facing the Diamondbacks, Brewers, and Cubs. First pitcher in modern Reds history to have 10 strikeout games in 3 consecutive appearances. The first rookie to do that since Hideo Nomo back in 1995. The last start there against the Cubs, 10 punch-outs in 7 innings. There's a call he did not get. Cervelli, day off yesterday, 4 hits and 17 at bats on the road trip. See his average at 300. And a 3-1 count. Iglesias spent a little bit of time on the disabled list. Chris Stewart was behind the plate for the Pirates yesterday. Jeff Locke gave up 3 second-inning runs. Just 1 was earned. And Cervelli reaches. Francisco Cervelli aboard. Free pass from Iglesias. bring up Jordy Mercer.
Keeps things pretty simple. We got 3 pitches. Fastball, a little bit of movement that looks like he can vary the speed on a little. We've seen him kind of hump up every now and then, put a little extra velocity on it. Gets up to 95 at least once so far. But you can see the little finish, little movement that he has on it, and a little slider, doesn't break much, and a changeup. If you have excellent command and control of just a couple of pitches, that's much better than having an array of things you can throw up there, but really not having any idea about any of them. You see guys like that sometimes. They'll have 4 or 5 different pitches. I think the guys that have mastered just a couple, you better watch out for them.
Will lead the shortstop to the bag, Suarez. And the Pirates 2-out walk. That is it. It is 0-0 heading to the bottom of the second. We go to the bottom of the second, and Francisco Liriano will be facing Jay Bruce.
Greg, look at these numbers that we're looking at here. And the league average on BIP, which is balls in play on fastballs, is at 308. And you look at his since the All-Star break, or since the July 29th, 422. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and that's one of the things I'm thinking that he's been snake bit a little bit. Balls should not be going for base hits at that high of an average. Fastballs put in play like that. So I think that's part of the problem with what's going on with Francisco, is just too many of his balls that are put in play are going for hits much greater than what the league average is, and that's happened to him this second half of the season. Now, you might say, well, maybe they're hitting the ball harder off of him, and that's why they're going for base hits. And there is something to that. If you go to the baseballsavant.com, they have the exit velocities.
Oh, there's a little soft single to left. Jay Bruce, his second career hit in 19 at-bats against Liriano.
And that one didn't have much exit velocity. But if you look at his exit velocities, the second half of the season, they are hitting the ball a little bit harder than the first half of the season, but he's still below the league average when it comes to that. So that might explain why his fastball is being hit at a higher batting average than in the first half, but not the whole thing. A lot of it has to be just simple bad luck, because it just doesn't doesn't happen like that. Things will always go toward the average. And for him to be being hit at well over 100 points higher makes no sense. And of course, we know, without looking at any .coms, just watching the games, that our defense has not been up to snuff this year. Another thing that's kind of odd, and I really don't know how to explain it, is look at the difference in even counts. I really don't have much of an explanation for that, but that's a huge difference. Now, perhaps he's been throwing more fastballs in even counts, because we know those have been going for base hits. So that, I guess it has to be part of that. That was an even count that he just got fouled off, and that was a fastball. But we know just from watching the ball games, watching Frankie pitch the last few years, is he does get a lot of his outs, a lot of his strikeouts on guys chasing balls down out of the strike zone like that. And that's really that's his bread and butter. That's how he excels as a National League starting pitcher.
Takes care of the rookie Adam Duvall. First out, and brings up Brian Pena.
Did I say what exit velocity even was, Greg? I don't know if I did or not.
Well, I want you, for those who weren't listening,
thinking that
just in case
it's the speed of the baseball coming off the bat.
Thank you.
Obviously, if you're hitting the ball harder, the velocity is more, and you're probably going to get more base hits, higher the exit velocity. And that's kind of a new term that's come in, and you can actually measure the speed of the ball coming off the bats. And so that's another one of the new metrics that everybody is using.
Pena, 276 hitter, just 220 as a right-handed batter. .297 from the other side. He's hitting .364 against the Pirates this season. Veteran switch hitting catcher Brian Pena. Toward center, McCutcheon for the second out. Takes care of Brian Pena. So now Liriano will face the pitcher, Mauricio Iglesias. .27 at bats, 10 strikeouts. Does have an RBI. Jay Bruce, that soft single to left, and more conversations for Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, he's going to have to get used to that. I mean, he already has a handle on it, you think, because he's been at first base as a runner over the years. He knows you're expected to talk about things. It's always amazed me how much discussion goes on down there. few times that I was on first base.
Just going to ask you.
I was most of the time you'd be talked to, but occasionally there'd be nothing, silence. And I wondered if it was because I was a pitcher that I wasn't being talked to like I was a regular player.
Would you talk back? Would you converse?
Yeah, I'd say something. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't like make small talk with them, but whatever the question was, I'd answer.
I thought you'd just say nothing. Just
no.
Add to your mysterious
I'd say
demeanor.
But I didn't want them to think I was like not being neighborly or anything,
3-2 now. Ramirez.
He's got that
backs
now.
off.
See how he did the little thing with the fingers? That's really not the way you're supposed to do that.
Iglesias strikes out. Third K for Liriano. The soft single, and Bruce is left stranded. After 2, it's 0-0.
Cincinnati. I'm Robbie Smikowski. Joaquin Andujar, former big league pitcher, passed away today at the age of 62. He pitched for 13 seasons in the big league with St. Louis, Houston, and Oakland, helping them get to 2 World Series. And Pirates coach Nick Leyva coached him with the Cardinals and told me today, as we can get a look at this picture, Leyva's on the left, that Andujar was one of the best competitors he has ever seen. Andujar, a 2-time 20-game winner with Leyva and the Cardinals. Now, this photo is actually part of an infamous incident as he was tossed from Game 7 of the World Series the day after a very infamous call, Greg and Bob, I'm sure that you'll remember, the Don Denkinger call. Clint Hurdle also hit a home run off Andujar and reflected on him earlier today and said he was one of the best competitors he's ever faced. Leyva did say it's a sorry day to lose a friend like that, and his best goes out to the Andujar family and friends in the Dominican Republic. So Nick Leyva, obviously a baseball man, and really had some good memories and good stories to tell about Joaquin Andujar. Passed away today from complications of diabetes at the age of 62.
All right, Robbie, thank you. Bob, you ever recall facing Joaquin Andujar?
Not really. I know that the hitters hated facing him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
all over, kind of.
One of the top guys that, nobody liked going up there when he was on the mound. And he had good stuff. He would give you a little close shave every now and then. And competitor, that's about sums it up. I mean, he was going to beat you no matter what. He was out there to win.
He had some pretty classic quotes over the years, Joaquin Andujar. One of the best was, there is one word in America that says it all, and that one word is, you never know. 2-0 on Francisco Liriano. He was a competitor, and that shot that Robbie showed of him getting thrown out of that game, that was a wild World Series. And I think Andujar took a little bit of a hit in his reputation after that World Series moment. McLeva. There were the Cardinals. And look at Francisco Liriano drive one to the right center field gap.
Double.
For a double. What a year he is having with the bat.
They asked him. They asked all the starting pitchers. You got to do some more with the bat. You got to work on it.
Look at this.
And he has.
How did he hit that ball up there? Francisco Liriano's 7th hit. It's his second double. And of course, you know he's homered. He's driven in 7 runs. My goodness.
The Pirates were very poor pitchers hitting last year, except for maybe Cole. They asked the guys to up their game, the whole package. Not only hitting, but try to cut down on their strikeouts. Get the bunts down. Just be better on offense. Try to contribute. And Francisco really has taken that to heart and has worked hard on it and gotten much better.
Well, you have your pitcher with a leadoff double. To say you have to bring him home, sure as heck have to do your best to, in this case for Polanco, at least get him to third. Marte on deck. Pirates were unable to bring home Marte from third and 1 out in the first inning. And that's a nice job there, and slowed down by Brandon Phillips to allow Liriano to try and score, and he will as the ball is cut off by the pitcher, and it is 1-0. Gregory Polanco brings home Liriano from second.
Greg, you don't see it all year, and now I've seen it 3 times on this road trip. A pitcher standing in front of home plate cutting the ball off. Another one of those ground balls that hit very hard, like a line drive.
Iglesias cut the ball off. That is the 3rd time this trip that's happened. Garrett Cole did it, and it happened just a couple of nights ago.
One of the Cardinal pitcher. I think it was Martinez.
Yeah, I think so.
According to the baseball book, you're supposed to be backing up the catcher on those plays, so the ball doesn't bounce around back behind home plate somewhere.
Liriano getting the wave from Rick Sofield.
That's the next thing he's going to have to see. He saw the ball getting cut off. That throw was on line. He might have been out.
Yeah.
That would have been close.
And there's a base hit. Just a bounding ball through the left side. Marte has doubled and singled. 2 on and nobody out, and the Pirates up 1-0. Iglesias gave up the double to Marte with 1 out in the first, was able to strike out McCutchen looking with the infield in, got Ramirez swinging. But here he gives up the double to start the frame, facing his mound opponent, Liriano, and then the Polanco hard single off of Phillips's glove, and Marte bounces one through the left side. Another opportunity for Andrew McCutchen. Hits this one hard to right field. Jay Bruce is back. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. 3-run opposite shot for Andrew McCutchen. The Pirates lead 4-0 in the third.
Now that was quick. Opposite field bullet.
So he gets off the RBI schneid as Andrew McCutchen picks up home run number 21 on the year.
They worked him over a little bit on the outside part of the plate at first at bat. Tried to do it again, and Kutch said, nope, not going to work.
88 RBIs on the season for McCutchen now. Here's Aramis Ramirez.
That fastball, did that look familiar? That's that one. He starts off the plate, brings it back, catch the corner. That's what he threw a couple of them. His first at bat, got away with him, won him for strike 3. This time it's over the right field fence. There's a no-doubter back by the tunnel.
Some 404 feet. First pitch he got from Iglesias here in the third. 21 homers, 88 ribbies. Another look.
No reason to do anything but break into a jog after that hit. Hitters make you laugh, don't they?
They do. Ramirez, fly ball to left. One away. McCutchen caught looking in that first inning. Not this time.
Nope, one of the great hitters in the game, really, year after year. It's tough for I think a pitcher to decide, okay, I'm going to do this to him tonight, because he's going to make some kind of an adjustment. You know, when the season started, looked at McCutchen's hot zones, and he was just, they were eating him up inside. He wasn't hitting anything inside. You look at him now, everything inside is 350. He made an adjustment.
And now they're trying to
adjust. See, that's how Kutch is. There's no spot where you say, okay, I can get him out here. There are certain good hitters that they can be pitched to. But with Kutch, it's like, okay, you got to figure out a way to be a step ahead of him.
And that's hit hard to center field by Kang. Bourgeois not able to make the play. Jung Ho Kang into second base with a double. Over the head of the center fielder. Boy, some hard hit balls here in the third inning off Iglesias.
Went up and away. Kang, just focused right on that ball. But Jung Ho does have a weak spot in that hot zone tree. That's been a weak spot the entire year. The down and in strike, just above the knees, inside part of the plate. That has been something that, you know, as the seasons go along now, and with all these scouting reports and everything that the pitchers get, they'll try to exploit that.
Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, pays Iglesias a visit while they get the bullpen up. Josh Smith, a right-hander. Neil Walker. This will be the second out. Kang now at third with 2 down for Francisco Cervelli. Iglesias walked him in the second. Cervelli is the 8th man to bat in this 3rd inning. McCutcheon making them laugh. Josh Harrison, Pedro Alvarez.
Tell the hitters are always laughing. You take a shot of the bullpen. Don't be a bit other.
Oh yeah, it's all serious out there.
Nobody laughs out there. See. Look, catch. Now look. There's some serious discussions going on.
Yeah.
About how to stop the laughing.
Two and two. Long inning for Iglesias.
Been a good pitch for him tonight, even though he's down 4-0. That movement on the fastball where he can bring it back and catch the outside corner. It was a good pitch for him until Kutch hit the one into the tunnel.
A balk has been called. How about that? It is 5-0. Jung Ho Kang will score with 2 outs and a 2-2 count on Cervelli.
I was looking at where Kutch hit that ball. I didn't see what he did.
Kang gets the double, moves to third, and scores on a balk call. Ball's popped up, going to be out of play. Just a slight flinch there, I guess, from Iglesias.
Once you start to go into your stretch, you can't stop. And there it was. The slightest of flinch.
And he strikes out Cervelli looking. Pirates sent 8 men to the plate. Francisco Liriano got it started with the double. Gregory Polanco brought him home. Andrew McCutcheon, a 3-run homer. The Pirates lead 5-0. get to tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. We told you Billy Hamilton activated today, had the jammed right shoulder that landed him on the disabled list while diving for a catch halfway through August. Career numbers against the Pirates. He has been really good against the Bucks this season. 13 games. He has scored a dozen runs, 16 stolen bases for Billy Hamilton against the Pirates this year. Jason Bourgeois takes ball one. Getting the start in center field again tonight. Point Park University tweets. Talk about the Bucco offense. Put a 5 spot on the board, and Francisco Liriano got it going. Andrew McCutchen, 3-run opposite field home run. And the balk brought in another. Well, McCutchen hits the 21 home run mark. And now 88 runs batted in.
Yeah, Kutch got the big home run there, but it is always amazing what happens when a pitcher does something positive on offense.
Boy, how about that play by Jordy Mercer?
Beautifully done.
Talk about a fabulous defensive play. Jordy Mercer. Tough little hop.
Yeah, this ball hit very hard. The one hopper, he has to kind of give it some ground, so he's trying to fight the in-between hop. He wants as much distance in between where that ball hit the ground to where it goes into his glove as possible, so he can have time to make any kind of an adjustment. He tries to lengthen that hop. That's why he gave ground on it.
Oh, 2 on Suarez. Watch this real speed. Tough hop Bob's talking about.
Infielders want to try and do one of two things. Either want the shortest possible hop, just the one that hits just a couple inches in front of the glove, because that way it doesn't have any time to move. If it takes a bad hop, it's only a couple inches in front of the glove. It's still going in there. Or a nice longer hop. Ideally, maybe just before it's about to hit the ground again. And that way you have plenty of time to make any kind of an adjustment if the ball does something funny. The worst thing is to get that ball kind of halfway through its travel, and that's what they call the in-between hop.
.94 miles per hour. First pitch missing to Votto. Cervelli wants a new baseball. Cervelli didn't like that one.
Did Cervelli not like it, or Frankie?
Cervelli.
Really?
And that one worked. The Francisco battery. Liriano, Cervelli. Two and two. Liriano hit Votto in the first. Once again, Votto up there as he is every year on base percentage. He is second behind Bryce Harper this season. Also fourth in slugging. Leads the league, having walked 121 times. And once again, with 2 strikes, he's choking up on that bat.
over that plate, doesn't he?
Man, he does. Votto having a fabulous season. Last year, injuries slowed him considerably. Ended up hitting at just .255 in 62 games. 300 career hitter. And now Brandon Phillips, who singled to left in the first inning. He said when he came to the plate in the first, he's hitting .375 against Pirates pitching. Has not walked once this season against Pittsburgh. He's going up there hacking. Numbers this year against the Pirates for the 34-year-old Raleigh, North Carolina native, Brandon Phillips.
I'm surprised that he wasn't moved before the trading deadline.
A lot of people were surprised probably at that, and the fact that he was even in a Reds uniform coming into this season. Still a big ticket, that salary for Brandon Phillips. Time called.
Well, he's really had a strong second half of the season. He's done well since the All-Star break, so should up his value if they choose to try and move him.
322 since the break.
Still under contract, right, for next year?
Signed a 6-year deal that keeps him a Red through 2017 unless he is moved. And there is the third time he has struck out this season against the Pirates. 5 punch-outs for Liriano.
Baseball season has come to a close, and it's been a really good season for the Pirates farm system as 4 of the top 5 affiliates made the playoffs. As we get a look at who made it: Indianapolis, Altoona, West Virginia Power, and West Virginia Black Bears. Now, Indianapolis takes on Scranton in a best-of-5 series that begins tomorrow. The Altoona Curve back in the playoffs for the first time since they won it all in 2010. They'll play Bowie. West Virginia won 87 games. That's a franchise record. They take on Hickory. And the Black Bears got in on the last day of the season, taking a wild card spot over Sean Rodriguez's father's team, the State College Spikes. Now, the best part of all of this, Greg and Bob, according to GM Neil Huntington, is that they're doing it with mostly age-appropriate prospects. He said you could fill a AAA team with a few vets with MLB experience and make the playoffs every year if you wanted. But to do it with guys like Josh Bell, Tyler Glasnow, and Elias Diaz leading the way, that's a good sign when you talk about organizational depth. And happy birthday to that young man.
Yes, 7th birthday. Let's have a Marte Parte. I think on the other side, we love Bob Walk. There we go. Uh-huh.
Oh, well. Oh, I hold it up
we do
high.
too. That's right. Keep it on that side.
It has been a little bit of a partay. 5-0 in all Pirates.
Josh Smith is the new pitcher.
His 4th game.
Just called up. Back up to the big leagues once again. His 3rd and final appearance this summer before his call-up yesterday was against these Pirates on June the 23rd at PNC Park. Josh Smith has pitched at 3 different levels in the minor leagues this year. This is his 3rd stint with the Pirates. Smith went 3 innings, gave up 4 runs against the Pirates in that start at PNC Park on June the 23rd. Strikes out Mercer looking.
Kind of the same pitch they've been using all night. That fastball over the outside corner. That one didn't have quite the movement on it. Smith's ball a little straighter.
Popped up to the shortstop and shallow center. So
he's even hitting major league pop-ups now.
Yeah, he is.
That one's way up there.
2 down. Well, the most popular way to follow the Pirates and their push to the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. Why don't you download it like Jim Trudinich, the Pirates Media Relations Department, does. MLB.com.
I have that app too.
I do too, Bob. I'm looking at it right now, checking out other scores.
Oh yes, you can do that.
It's great for pitch tracking.
Does it tell you exit velocities?
Everything. StatCast. Also tells you that the Nationals are leading the Mets 3-1. Did you and Tim get into the Matt Harvey discussion at all yesterday?
No.
You have any thoughts about it?
No, not really. None of my business. Sometimes I should just keep my thoughts to myself.
Well, Harvey and the Mets.
Well, I guess he's still pitching, right?
Yes.
Pitching tonight.
Yep.
And he's going to pitch in the playoffs.
Sounds like it.
So I don't know what all the hubbub was about.
I guess there was question as to whether he was going to pitch in the playoffs.
Whether he could go over 180 innings.
Right. He's gone 4 innings tonight, giving up 3 runs on 6 hits. Jordan Zimmerman 1 run, 5 innings for the Nats. As the Nationals trail the Mets by 5 games in the East.
See, what I kind of don't understand about it a little bit, and don't know if I'm looking at this right or not, but if it's 180 innings, if that's the number, what difference does it make whether you're in the playoffs or not? The ligament in your arm doesn't know if it's an important game or not. It has no idea. It doesn't know if you're warming up or throwing to a hitter. So how can it be 180 unless you make the playoffs and then you can pitch more? Shouldn't be an issue. Should either be 180 and I'm done, or it's not an issue.
Popped up. Josh Smith is going to have a 1-2-3.
I tried not to give my opinion and you tricked me into it.
We go to the bottom of the fourth. 5-0 Pirates.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
5-0. Pirates lead it. Going to the bottom of the fourth inning. Todd Frazier leads off for the Reds against Francisco Liriano. That first pitch strike to Frazier. Fly to center field in the first. Liriano has walked one, struck out 5 batters. Bob was talking at the top of the telecast about hoping that Liriano gets that strikeout pitch going again. He has not had double digits in strikeouts since July 23rd. His first start following the All-Star break. Since then, 4 strikeouts, 4, 5 against the Cardinals, 5 against Arizona, 5, 5, and 4 last time out against Milwaukee. And here he's got 5. Frazier, Jay Bruce, Adam Duvall.
Well, you like to have your big guns, big pitchers step up with late in the season things on the line, and Cole certainly did that with both his arm and his bat the other night, and we're seeing the same thing tonight with Liriano. Got the big rally going with a leadoff double, deep right center field, and has been able to put some zeros up on the scoreboard.
It's Cervelli, and Cervelli goes down. He's in some pain right there. Todd Tomczyk and Clint Hurdle make what has become a familiar trip from that dugout to that area behind home plate. Chris Stewart was watching. Cervelli
came down, got him on top of the knee. It was a slider, so it was breaking down to begin with, and then just ticked. My guess is Francisco Cervelli will not have his knee on the ground anymore. He'll have it. He'll be in a traditional squat, and then that wouldn't have happened. It would have just hit the shin guard. But because he had his shin guard actually in the dirt facing downward, he didn't. He left himself exposed, and that's where he got hit. He won't. I don't think he'll be in a one of those crouches where you put your shin guard straight down in the dirt for a while. See how his left shin guard is right down in the dirt. His knee is in the dirt.
Stay in the ball game.
Say those shin guards, they come up very high,
yeah,
too.
They do.
A little bit higher than in the old days. It was just the knee protection, and that was it. Those other two things weren't even on there. He's got a little extra up there, and still didn't work.
He strikes out Frazier, does Liriano, number 6.
Oh, look at that. He put his knee right back down in the same spot. Like I said, he wouldn't do that again. He did it on the next pitch.
Now he's buying himself some time, limping to the mound. And now Clint Hurdle and Todd Tomczyk are going to have to come out again. Cervelli maybe not going to be able to continue in this ball game.
You know, maybe that's why he did put his knee back down on the next pitch, because he just couldn't hold himself up.
Chris Stewart is getting ready. Cervelli is going to come out of this ball game, looks like. Clint Hurdle.
No, I think he's going to stay in. He's going back to the plate.
Well, Clint Hurdle has his arm around him as if he's going to try and say, let's get out of here. No, he's going to stay in.
They weren't walking toward the dugout. They were walking toward home plate.
Just looking at the way Clint Hurdle had his arm around him as if to say, you know, if you don't feel like you can continue, let's get you out of here. Jay Bruce shows bunt with no one over there on the left side other than Jung Ho Kang deep as the shortstop. Brad Fisher, one of the coaches. Let's go downstairs to Robbie.
Yeah, Clint just said to Chris Stewart one more time, and he's going to make a change. If he has to go out one more time, Cervelli's going to exit the game. Chris Stewart keeping a close eye. His shin pads are on. He's ready to go should Cervelli exit.
Oh, good stuff, Robbie. Thank you for that information. So Robbie hears Clint Hurdle say one more time, and that's it.
Kind of like visits to a pitcher.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was telling him when he put his arm around him.
One more time.
One more time out here, and you're coming with me.
That's right.
He hopped around pretty good on that one. Sometimes it just takes a while here. Move that knee around a little bit. Get the blood flow going again.
line, and there is Aramis Ramirez with his first play as a first baseman.
Look at him smiling.
He makes the play. Aramis Ramirez.
Oh.
This is pretty easy with this glove here. You kidding?
See him have to look in it. Is
yeah.
His ball in there?
Oh, this glove is nice.
A lot more room.
Yeah.
A big net.
One strike. Aramis Ramirez making the start tonight at first base after beginning his career as a third baseman, and we said earlier, one of only 6 players in big league history. First 2,000 career starts at one position before making a start at another. Omar Vizquel, the last to do this, when he went from short to third back in May of 2009. Bill Mazeroski, one of those 6 players. Maz made his first 2,044 appearances at second base and then switched to third on July 29, 1971. Adam Duvall, a count of 1-2. And there's a happy fan. Bucko fan. Ouch.
That hurt.
Second batter, Liriano hits.
Ball wishing he had a shin guard. Pow,
Yeah, really.
right off the shin. I wonder if trainers wish they still had those little spray bottles where they could, like, spray something on.
Yeah.
Because now let's just go out there and, like, hey, you okay?
Paul Lassard, the head trainer out there.
Just kind of talk, you know. Every now and then you, like, poke it with your thumb to say if that hurts.
Toward left field, Marte got a great jump on it and races in to make the catch. Brian Pena flies out to left. 5-0 Pirates. We'll see how Cervelli is doing when we come back. Michael Wacha, check the playoff picture where the Pirates stand right now. 2-game lead on the Cubs for home field advantage for that wild card game. During the break, Francisco Cervelli back in the dugout. Clint Hurdle looks as though he's going to go over and talk to him and maybe tell him he's done. Cervelli goes into the.
It went straight down, heading to the clubhouse.
We'll see if Stewart doesn't come on. Now that could be just he's going in there for some treatment.
Yeah, it's not a very long walk to the clubhouse here. Just down those steps and then up a couple of other steps in the back.
If the Pirates have a long inning here in the top of the 5th, that'll help Cervelli. First pitch strike on Marte, who has doubled, singled, and scored. Josh Smith, a 1-2-3 fourth in relief of Raisel Iglesias. And he's going to have a 3-for-3 night.
It's a Marte parte. Can't get him out.
Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Andrew McCutchen came to the plate last time up in the 3rd against Iglesias and cracks his 21st home run of the year over the right field wall. 3-run shot. That made it 4-0. Gives McCutchen now 88 RBIs on the season. Whoops. Whoa, Marte somehow got back. He was picked off.
The throw was a little off the mark. So Votto has to reach up and bring it all the way back, and Marte able to get the hand in there. Good throw down around the bag. You'd have been out.
This time barely off the bag. Happy birthday wish to Gene Hutchison. Lifetime Pirates fan. RBI leaders in the National League up to date. Nolan Arenado of the Rockies over the century mark. Paul Goldschmidt. Matt Kemp would have bounced back here for him. Now with the Padres. McCutchen and of course Chris Bryant. You'd have to believe that Bryant is the National League Rookie of the Year leading contender for that award. McCutchen will be that MVP discussion again. Pitch out, and now the ball dropped by Pena on the pitch out, and Marte winds up at second.
It was a sloppy play, wasn't it?
Pass ball by Pena as a call for the pitch out.
Wasn't a great pitch out either. Sinker down, knee high.
One ball, one strike. Trying to get Marte home.
It's not as easy, at least it wasn't for me, as you would think, throwing that pitch out.
And why is that, Bob?
Well, you're always throwing to a target. You know, you're looking in, you're in the stretch, okay, and you're looking in. You know, and you got a spot picked out in your mind where you're going to throw the ball. When there's a pitch out, the spot is just somewhere out there in space. And, you know, as you throw, now the catcher is jumping out there. Kind of like, almost like a moving target you're trying to hit. I just didn't like it. So I can see why you know, he might not throw the ball exactly where he wanted on a pitch out. I'm sure that there were times where I wasn't exactly locating it real well myself. I mean, it looks like such a simple thing, but I mean, that's why they make you practice it every now and then. You know, you'll have a bullpen session, and they'll have you, when it's all done, they'll have you throw a couple pitch outs to both sides of the plate, just a little practice.
Interesting.
Thanks, Greg.
Talking about the MVP race in the National League, the position players: Bryce Harper, Paul Goldschmidt, Anthony Rizzo, and of course Zach Greinke, 16-3, a 1.68 ERA. And all deserving candidates at this point. And McCutchen just misses, hitting one into the upper deck.
Wow.
Oh, and he knows
that was just a fraction of an inch on the baseball from being just a moonshot. A hanging breaking ball just got underneath. See his reaction. Kind of wanted to slam that helmet down there.
Yeah.
I think it thought the better of it. See, when they make outs, hitters laugh, smile. That's why when you blow somebody that score a lot of runs, you call it a laugher. The hitters made that up.
These pitchers never laugh.
No, it's very serious. Pitching is serious business, Greg.
Yeah. Serious looking swing, but Smith able to get Ramirez to come up empty.
He's not hitting well as a first baseman.
No, he's not. Looking for his first hit ever as a first baseman. And a bouncer for the second out. Brewers coming to town on Thursday, and on Saturday night, Game 3 of that series. Stay after the game, some belly fireworks show courtesy of Yuengling Oktoberfest. Plus, everybody takes home great prizes on an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. Game 3 of the 4-game series against the Brewers. Pirates with revenge on their minds. So the Brewers swept the Pirates to start this road trip. Now Jung Ho Kang. Double to center field his last time up. Point Park University tweet: Bob with a runner on third and a pitcher box. Does the batter at the plate get an RBI?
Why is that addressed to me?
You're the expert. What do you mean? It says Bob.
Should be Greg.
Don't question the person
should be
tweeting.
Greg.
Don't question the person tweeting. He's asking you.
Well, obviously, I don't know. I don't think anybody gets an RBI. Nobody batted it in.
No. Apparently,
that's a guess on my part.
Yeah, I understand. We've got actually. That's not a dumb question. A lot of people have asked it, but no RBI on someone.
Yeah, scoring decisions should go to the promo readers, not the analysts.
That's right. The promo readers.
Unless it's extra innings, and I'll read
promo reader on your left there, the analyst on your right. Serious business.
Yeah,
they kind of like pitchers.
Pitching, yeah. Looked like a shot of the bullpen there.
Yeah, it did. My gosh. And a strike 3 called on Kang. Oh, Marte was at second with no one out. He doesn't move. Pirates still lead 5-zip. Take you to Morgantown for WVU's second game of the season. See Dana Holgerson and his Mountaineers square off against the Liberty Flames, kicking off live Saturday at 3 on Root Sports. Bucks leading at 5-0. Trying to even this series at a game apiece. Francisco Cervelli is back out there. Fairly long top half of that 5th inning, so that probably helped. Getting some treatment there from Todd Tomczyk, and now doing some grounds crew work. Christopher Negron will pinch hit for Josh Smith. With 6 punch outs out in front of the pinch hitter Negron. And you almost got him to offer. Soft liner to the second baseman, Neil Walker. Day automotive this day in Pirates history. This date 1958. Pirates beat the Reds 4-1 at Forbes Field. Roberto Clemente ties a modern major league record, 3 triples. Did not score after the first 2 triples, but Dick Stewart finally singled him home after his 3rd triple. Kurt Radon pitched 6 innings, allowed just 1 unearned run for the win. Don Gross picked up a 3-inning save. On this date, Jason Bourgeois at the plate. Dick Stewart, known affectionately as Dr. Strangeglove, power hitting first baseman.
Not known for his defense.
Not known for his defenses, for sure. He had 22 errors his second year. The Pirates in 1959. He was a Boston Red Sox player in 1963 and committed 29 errors his first year in the American League over at first base. And Ramirez makes his first start of his career over there. Pedro Alvarez with 19 errors. This affects him probably more than anybody else, because let's face it, with a right-hander starting, Raisel Iglesias, almost every single night Pedro Alvarez, a left-handed batter, has started at first base. And Clint Hurdle said, yeah, I talked to him and he knows the situation. We got to try this. Nice little play there by Mercer. Good defense by Jordy Mercer, twice retiring Jason Bourgeois. A couple of different looking plays.
That's where I find myself watching Ramos at first base instead of watching what Jordy's doing. Well, it was a nice play by Jordy, but Ramos looking very comfortable on the on just about everything he's done over there so far. Catching the routine throws. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like you're just staring at him thinking, okay, is he going to...
He doesn't look out of place.
No, he looks like he's all right there. Even on the line drive where he kind of played around with it a little bit. He's always been a cool and very calm character, though, even as a very, very young big leaguer.
That's helped make him be such a great player. As you said, may never reach Cooperstown, but there will be talk about whether he isn't deserving of some Hall of Fame votes.
Oh, he'll get some.
He's been so level-headed throughout his career.
Pretty smart player.
Yep. Two and two now on Eugenio Suarez, who has struck out twice.
When it was on the Cubs, it was almost like he was overshadowed by all the very colorful characters they had back in those days that weren't very level-headed.
Wow, he strikes out Suarez for a third straight time. That gives him 7. Francisco Liriano, a 1-2-3, bottom of the 5th. Strong. They've won 4 in a row.
They're playing some great baseball. They're really hitting the heck out of it, too.
Doing all that damage against Michael Wacha tonight. Castro adding the home run. Rizzo homered earlier. Third pitcher of the game for the Reds, Carlos Contreras. And Walker takes a strike. Christopher Negron stays in the game to play left for Adam Duvall. Walker has struck out and bounced out in his first 2 at-bats against the starter Iglesias, who went 3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. One-two count on Walker, who began his big league career here in Cincinnati, Ohio, against the Reds as a pinch hitter.
Came close to getting hit.
Brandon Phillips robbed him.
Yep.
September of 2009. He strikes out for a second time in this game. Bucks and Brewers, reminder, starting that series Thursday night, and game 2 of the series, Charlie Morton models the free t-shirt. The first 20,000 fans will receive compliments of Western Pennsylvania Toyota dealers. Plus, enjoy food, live entertainment, and the Line and Kugel Bar before the game at the Friday night block party on Federal Street. That's presented by Barrel Automotive. Go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Buccos and Brewers. 4 games starting Thursday night. Then the Chicago Cubs, the day-night doubleheader. 1 week from today. That's when Garrett Cole will pitch. He'll pitch one of those 2 games after being skipped. Strike is called. Garrett Cole, 25 years old today. Happy birthday to Garrett Cole. Gonna skip a start and be back. One of those games against the Cubs 1 week from today. A.J. Burnett returns to the rotation Thursday night. Fingers crossed that A.J. Burnett is something close to what he was the first half. That would be huge.
No reason why it couldn't be exactly like it was the first half. That would be Batman-like. Think there'd be a little excitement at the ballpark?
A little bit. Talking with Robin. Jeff Locke, who pitched a good ball game. Didn't have defense behind him last night. Locke will pitch on Saturday against the Brewers. Three and 2 on Cervelli. A walk and a strikeout. And he goes down for a second time. Nissan rode ahead. Jay Happ, who's been sensational since a so-so debut with the Pirates. 4-1, a 1.57 ERA. Goes up against rookie Kivas Sampson. Nissan rode ahead. Tomorrow night, there's Jay Happ. 3 hits over 7 shutout innings Friday at Busch Stadium. Seated next to Charlie Morton. 2 runs in his last 5 starts, covering 30 innings.
How serious the pitchers look there?
Yes.
Now there's no more laughing going on in those seats.
That's right.
The pitchers have taken over.
Pretty serious there. 3-1 on Mercer to keep Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen away from those pitchers.
Watch Jay Hale smile in a second.
And a 2-out walk. Jordy Mercer brings up Francisco Liriano. Contreras, his third stint with the Cincinnati Reds. Retired 6 batters his last time out on Saturday against Milwaukee. He struck out the first 2 men here in the 6th before walking Mercer. Liriano has doubled and popped up. Do you realize, Bob, Liriano with 7 RBIs, he picks up 1 more ribby, one of 16 Pirates pitchers in the modern era to have 8 RBIs or more. And you are one of them.
Really?
Yes. In 1989, you drove in 9 batters. Oh, a shot off the pitcher Contreras, and look at this. An infield hit, and Contreras is hurt, it appears, as he's limping, and Brian Price will check on him along with one of the trainers.
No, he's all right. He tried to wave everybody away. But Francisco now he's getting leg hits, literally. Now, Frankie, he took off real fast coming out of there. And then he saw that about halfway down he saw he had it, and he eased on in the first. Go, look at it. Oh, he's got it now. He's back.
2 more hits for him. Francisco
You got a lot of
Liriano.
it,
Oh, 8 hits to lead the pitching staff.
Do you remember when Francisco would go up there like he didn't even care?
Absolutely.
Just stand there and then walk back? Very American League-like for a long time. Now it's like he's having fun out there.
But having serious fun.
Yeah.
Nothing to laugh about.
Fun on the inside.
Yeah. Polanco 1 for 3 with an RBI. How about that, Bob? You're one of those pitchers that. Did you realize that?
That was an RBI machine, correct?
9 ribbies.
Well, you're laughing like that's a big surprise to you. Like I could knock in a run?
No, of course you could. I'm just trying to act like a hitter. Have fun.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you are.
You know, with you. When you were hitting, you were having fun.
Yeah, it was. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was really the only fun about baseball when you're hitting. You're out there pitching, it's not fun then. All serious. You know when it's fun is when you're doing something nobody expects you to do well. So you can just go up there and have a good time.
Plate umpire says he did, and Polanco says he didn't even check with the third base ump.
Yeah, I didn't think he went.
Rips this foul.
Now when you swing and miss, you can leave the box, right?
Well, I don't know. They're doing it routinely now.
No, but I mean the original rules when you swing and miss. So if they call a swing and a check, now you can take a walk.
That's what you should do.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll slow this game down.
I swung. Okay, well I'll get back in here in about 30 seconds now. I'll show you.
Otto tosses to the pitcher. Pirates leave a couple, but are leading 5-0.
Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
5-0 Pirates lead. The gentleman in the black Pirate shirt, Bones' dad, Scott Bonnet's father. Pirates equipment manager. A lot of Bucco fans on hand. Boy, we lost a great Pirates fan, too. Demetrius Thorne, known affectionately as Pedro on his Twitter account, Fake Pedro, for his strong resemblance to Pedro Alvarez. He lost his mom, Wendy, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Demetrius Thorne and the family. She took him to his first Pirate game at Three Rivers, I think when he was 12 years old. Fell in love with his Buccos. As Francisco Liriano is shutting out the Reds through the first 5 frames. And faces Joey Votto, who has reached twice. Hit by a pitch and walked. And there's that strike on the inside part of the plate. That's hard to do with this guy. He's all over that half of the plate. There he goes again.
Puts his back down. Well,
back to the pitcher, and he
sure chokes up a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. A lot of moving around there in that box.
Got a good 2 inches on that bat. Kind of like how Bonds used to do.
Oh, struck him out looking. Votto does not agree with that call. Really giving it to James Hoy.
Well, it was a little inside. There's a breaking ball that framed nicely by Cervelli. I think the way he caught that ball made it look like a strike.
Brandon Phillips 1 for 2. One of the 2 hits off of Liriano.
And when we're talking about seeing him strike out a few more, that would be a good sign. But what also comes with those strikeouts is that when he gets his pitch count elevated. That's the 6th inning, and he's in the 90s as far as his pitches, the number of pitches he's thrown.
Just a little pop up to shallow right that's going to drop in for a hit.
So this might be the last inning for Francisco. He would think would be at 100 or awfully close to it. He's only 8 pitches away from that number. Breaking ball coming down and in. He's kind of punched it out there. Again, not much exit velocity on that one. Just well placed.
Phillips with 2 of the 3 Reds hits. And now 2-0 on Frazier. 2 balls, 1 strike. More conversations. Did he go? He did. 2-2. 30 home run season for Todd Frazier. Only Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, and Bryce Harper have hit more home runs this year than the Reds' third baseman. Yeah, the All-Star, and he was the ambassador for this city, representing the Reds. A season that has been a disappointment, but that was the highlight perhaps of this year for Reds fans, watching their man participate in the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. Queen City put on a show. And he offers at that pitch for the strikeout, number 9 for Francisco Liriano.
Slider in the dirt. Good job here by Cervelli to block that ball. The ball's going to get in the dirt, so he puts the glove straight down so there's no way the ball can get underneath it, and then just drops his body all over everything, both knees in the dirt, making sure that that ball had nowhere to go but up into the chest protector.
Frazier, the 9th strikeout victim for Liriano. Bruce had that soft single to left leading off the 2nd and lined out to Aramis Ramirez in the 4th. It's an 0-2 count. 5 times this season Liriano has had double-digit strikeout totals. 4 before the All-Star break. We've already mentioned his last on July 23rd against the Nationals, where he punched out 11. And in that game, 103 pitches in 6 innings, allowing 1 run, striking out 11 Nats batters. He's at 100 pitches now. Well, the Pirates wanted that one.
That's a great location as far as Liriano's concerned. He's trying to just throw this fastball, just nick the outside corner with it. And that's where he put it. He's going for a called strike on that one. If he wants a swinging strike, then just when he throws the hard breaking ball in the dirt. What do you think? He'll throw that pitch here?
That slider?
Yeah, it was the 103rd pitch.
Yeah.
So he has to match.
Yeah, that's.
There it is, slider. Oh, no, he's shook it off. Oh, went back to it. Slider inside. He's going to try and catch him looking.
Oh, and he thought he had that one, but that was inside.
Yeah, that was the pitch that he struck Votto out with.
In his career, including his hit his first time up. And he goes down swinging, and if that is it, what a way to finish it for Liriano. 10 strikeouts and 6 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. It's the hug. So he is done, and what a performance. 5 innings, 6 innings rather, and a 5-0 lead, shutting out the Reds. And he had the strikeout pitch going, Bob.
Yes, he did. He had the strikeout pitch going. You know, one of the things that we always talk about is, can he get chases out of the strike zone down? And that's what he had tonight. A lot of swings at that slider down, a few change-ups down. It was a beautiful thing. And don't forget, he started that 5-run inning with the long double over the bounced over the right center field fence.
Well, here is Starling Marte, and Marte, is robbed by Christopher Negron. Robbed of his 4th hit, and a spectacular catch by Christopher Negron. What a play. And he might be hurt after making that spectacular catch.
He might. I was hoping he just kind of knocked the air out of him. Yeah, no, I think it's a shoulder.
Yeah.
The way he's holding his arm, trying to protect the shoulder, it looks like.
Negron came on for Adam Duvall, who left the game after being hit by a pitch earlier. Duvall had x-rays on the left knee, just a bruise, and now Negron making this great catch. Wow, what a play.
I don't know, Greg. I didn't see anything that was abnormal there, did you?
Not really.
Like a clean slide and catch. Didn't seem to land terribly hard on his shoulder. He certainly was hurting immediately.
His pitcher appreciated it. Ryan Price and Reds trainer out there.
It didn't look like he landed on that shoulder.
It's got to be hard for a player to bring a manager all the way out there and a trainer and spend that much time and stay in the game. You almost have to. I mean, at the same time, you're a young player in September trying to impress. It's got to be tough for Negron to want to leave.
Wants to stay in, but he just made a tremendous defensive play. Definitely wants to stay out there.
Well, if he wanted to stay out there, he just waved the trainer and the manager off as they started to make their way out to left field. But once the manager and the trainer get out there,
not moving the arm very much.
Negron, a great catch, robbing Starling Marte of his 4th hit. And so Adam Duvall started in left. Negron went out there when he was hit by that pitch and bruised his knee. So now Skip Schumacher will make his way out to left. Veteran Schumacher. Marte would have had at least his 2nd double, and if Negron doesn't come up with that ball, could be looking at a triple for Marte. McCutchen homered in the 3rd. 21 homers now and 88 RBIs. Pittsburgh scoring 5 times in that third inning. 8 men to the plate. Gregory Polanco singled home Liriano, who led off with a double after a Marte single. McCutchen homered. Later, Jung Ho Kang doubled, and he scored on a balk call. Cubs are leading the Cardinals 6-0 in the 4th. Washington Nationals took a big lead on the New York Mets. Knocked out Matt Harvey, who gave up 7 runs in 5 1/3. But the Mets staging a comeback. They're down by a run in the 7th inning in D.C. Two and two on McCutchen. Full count.
Kutch is so simple with everything. Just a couple little things he does, and then immediately just rest the bat on the shoulder.
And now McCutchen slips out of the box.
If he stepped on the plate, maybe.
Two outs.
I don't know if that's what it was. Sometimes you can slip on that plate as you're pushing off. No.
McCutchen trips out of the box, so he's retired, but 1 for 4 tonight. That big home run, and now Ramos Ramirez. Two 2-0 on Ramirez. A strikeout, a flyout, and a bouncing ball to third. For that first hit as a first baseman. First career start over there. Talked about earlier Bill Mazeroski, one of the players who made a bunch of starts at one position and moved over to third base in 1971 for a start. Pirate fans might remember Richie Hebner, longtime third baseman. He became a first baseman in Philadelphia. A strikeout for Ramirez. 5-0 Pirates. This comes to us from Houston, Texas. Tom Brown got those from his Root Sports Pirates charity auction. Jared Hughes and a Steve Blass. Cousin Tom fired up about that. Contributing to the Root Sports charity auction earlier this summer. UPMC scoreboard 5-0. Pirates lead it.
Steve's got a nice autograph.
Yes, he does. So does Jared. But Steve's is really, you can tell.
Oh, yeah. Old school.
Yeah.
See the letters.
Mm-hmm. He faces Tucker Barnhart pinch hitting. Sean Rodriguez now at first base for Ramirez. Barnhart bats for the pitcher Contreras here in the 7th. He was 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly in yesterday's game. Jared Hughes wasn't helped out by the defense on Friday when he gave up a couple of runs in the 9th inning, a 9-3 win over the Cardinals. Mercer makes that play.
And looking again for that long hop. You saw him. He's reading it off the bat. A couple of quick steps backwards to get the long one.
Well, the schedule is out for 2016. Some of the highlights: open the season against the Cardinals. First road trip will be here in Cincinnati and in Detroit. There's a 10-game trip out west in April. A 9-game trip to Seattle, Oakland, and St. Louis as the Pirates will be playing the American League West. 10-game homestand against Central Division rivals. Schedule out on Pirates.com as Brian Pena fouls it off. Pirates will finish the season in St. Louis and play interleague games against the Tigers, Angels, Mariners, and Houston Astros.
Oh, we go to Houston. Do we go to Houston or is that
Houston will
home?
come to PNC Park? Kind of hoping.
Yeah,
I'd like to get back there too.
What good Mexican food restaurants did I miss?
And Minute Maid.
Yeah, it's a nice park.
Yeah. Bouncing ball into right field. Pena singles, and now Hughes will face Skip Schumacher. Schumacher's first at bat came on for the injured Christopher Negron. Liriano, 6 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Hughes pitched a scoreless 6th inning last night. Ball, 1 strike. Schumacher, they announced that Negron was injured with a, I think they said partially dislocated shoulder. That's what we heard, but maybe not. I heard he was going to be re-examined tomorrow. 1 ball, 1 strike on Schumacher.
Did they say separate or dislocated? Didn't one of them separated is not as bad, right? That's just kind of like snap out and snap back in. I think.
You can partial dislocation of his left shoulder.
Wow.
It didn't look all that bad when he landed, but.
Remember Terry Harper?
Yeah.
Saw him dislocate his shoulder waving a guy. He was hitting. He was waving a guy in on a wild pitch.
No. That is a fair ball. And don't know whether it actually hit the chair. The bat boy tried to get out of the way. It looked like it hit something for it to stop dead.
A security guy or somebody behind the bat boy. It might have hit him.
And second and third as Schumacher gets a double.
And we'll see now what it hit. Hit the security guy's chair. Bat boy got out of the way. It's kind of like having a double relay. The first guy doesn't get it, there's always a backup. Yeah, Terry Harper dislocated his shoulder, just waving the runner in from third. You know, making like this.
My gosh, the
windmills. Yeah, and then all of a sudden he scored, and everybody looks, and there's Terry standing up there at the plate, like his arm hanging. And he had problems with that in his career. He'd done that a few times. And he,
my word,
like him dislocated shoulder, just
waving a guy
like that.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be, I guess, a hard hit. If it's something the way your shoulder is, I guess can come out easy.
Well, Hughes has essentially given up 2 ground balls, 1 single, 1 double. Infield back, looking for outs. Joaquin Soria, the right-hander. Antonio Bastardo, the left-hander. Three and two. And this is a fair ball and a quick tag made by Cervelli. 2 outs. Brian Price comes out.
Well, if that ball didn't hit anybody, it's definitely a fair ball. Did it hit Borges? No. How does he not run? And what is his complaint? I think he's looking down right at it. He sees it's in fair territory.
Brian Price came out.
No, there wasn't nothing to argue about there. The ball was laying in front of home plate, picked it up, tagged it. And definitely didn't hit anything. Didn't come close to hitting it.
2 outs. And here is Suarez, who struck out 3 times against Liriano. Oh, a couple of strikes on him, and he's on the verge of striking out for a 4th straight time. Suarez has done a nice job offensively at short with the injured Zach Cozart out. 280 at bats, 11 homers, 42 RBIs. Colin Ballister. And he does go down for a 4th straight time. and flips the bat in the air. A rough night for Suarez. 5-0 Bucks. Buccos leading 5-0. Head to the 8th inning in Cincinnati, while the Cubs are leading the Cardinals 6-0. 5th inning in St. Louis. Pirates could move to within 4.5 games of the Redbirds. Happy Pirate fans tonight, young and old alike, and Colin Ballister, who was with the Pirates organization earlier this season. Former Nationals pitcher, back in the big leagues for the first time since 2012, when he appeared in 11 games out of the bullpen with Detroit. Colin Ballister, Huntington Beach, California native, who now lives in Bradenton, faces Jung Ho Kang, who doubled in the 3rd and scored. Hits a drive to deep left center field. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming.
Oh.
Tape measure for Jung Ho Kang.
That went
upper deck
into the tunnel. Man, what a bomb.
Kang with his 14th and one of his most impressive. Jung Ho Kang. Upper deck.
Wow.
Wow.
Back into that tunnel up there. That's how far that was.
Oh, man.
Where that went over the fence has got to be close to 390. And it went in the tunnel on the upper deck.
Nice greeting for Colin Ballister back to the big leagues. Whoa. It's a low-level look. And away she goes.
That's an impressive shot. I bet you if you were sitting up there.
Yeah.
Thinking, well, I'm a mile from anything, and all of a sudden the ball's up there where you're at. Only a handful of people sitting up there tonight, but they got a shot at a baseball. hanging breaking pitch.
The other way, Schumacher. All the way, 6-0 Pirates. Bucks will be back home Thursday night, first of a 4-game series against the Brewers. Sunday, all kids 14 and under get a Pirate Parrot cuddle-up pillow thanks to Highmark. Get to the ballpark early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone out on Federal Street, and after the game, kids can run the bases courtesy of the original pizza logs. Go to pirates.com for tickets this Sunday. Bucks Brewers. And now Cervelli. Walked and struck out twice. Jung Ho Kang. Starling Marte.
Talking about that ball, how it looked coming in. Breaking ball just hanging like that. I think they're looked to me like they're talking about how early you can see it, would be my guess.
H.K. Kim, Jung Ho Kang's interpreter, in between Marte and Jung Ho Kang. And there's ball 4. Estimated distance 447 feet.
It was all of that.
As you can see, Kang converses routinely now with his teammates. Spanish is quite well. English.
A little mixture.
Yep. Jordy Mercer now pops one up to center field. Bourgeois. We'd like to welcome Sudden Link viewers in the Charleston, West Virginia area. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Out of Charleston, West Virginia. Souvenir time. They got it all. They got the, looks like the new hats, the jerseys, baseball now. Pedro Alvarez pinch hitting for Hughes.
About the sideburns.
Oh, 0-2 on Alvarez. Some nice sideburns.
They are.
Alvarez goes down on strikes. Jung Ho Kang crushes one, his 14th of the year. Pirates scored 5 in the 3rd and had a solo blast in the 8th. Jung Ho Kang, 6-zip. to become one of the best Pirate players on the mound and at the plate. Check out Chris Stewart's new smart hitting system and much more inside Pirates baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Jung Ho Kang, the big home run. It's 6-0. 3-run homer early in the ball game for Andrew McCutchen. The pitching of Francisco Liriano, Jared Hughes, and now Antonio Bastardo.
Bastardo's numbers on the year, all very good, as long as he throws enough strikes.
Josh Harrison takes over at second. Here's Joey Votto. A couple of strikes on Votto. He struck out looking his last time up against Liriano, and he wasn't happy about it. Twitter reaction to the Jung Ho Kang home run. Hashtag Bucks Booth if you want to add your 2 cents on the big home run. Traveled about 450 feet upper deck. And bounced to Harrison. On to Rodriguez. That's clever. Clear the upper deck. Cannonball coming. Jung Ho Kang, he has been quite a pickup. And there's a chance. I mean, Ramirez not necessarily tested all that much, but there's a chance we could see this for a time with Kang at third and Ramirez at first. Nothing to suggest that Ramirez was out of his element over there tonight. They prefer Kang at third and Mercer at short defensively. Ramos Ramirez done for the night at first base. On Brandon Phillips, he has 2 hits.
I think sometimes you're always trying to find that balance between the defense and the offense. You know, who do you play? Who do you set against certain pitchers?
And the one thing that Clint Hurdle even pointed out, if you look at the offensive numbers. Ramirez driving those runs. You touched on that at the outset. You cannot deny the ribbies.
No, he's been
driving in runs
for sure. And you know, if he can handle it over there at first base, then you know, I believe also that they're much better off with the Jung Ho and Jordy over on that left side.
Yeah.
Defensively, I'm speaking.
Right. Just foul right side.
You know, and every now and then we'll see a game where things just don't go right on defense. It could be anything. Not any particular person, but it's a reminder of how important the defense is to the final score of the game. We saw that again yesterday. I think sometimes we lose sight of that because it's not really a real flashy part of the game that we're making the routine plays and that sort of thing. But boy, if it's not done, might not be flashy, but it can cost you a game.
Phillips struck out his second time up. Liriano punched out 10. He's trying to win his 10th of the year and his first regular season victory against the Reds. Hits this well towards center field, but McCutchen is there. 2 up, 2 down. Bastardo trying to pitch a scoreless 8th, and we have to believe that Mark Melanson will get work tonight. Clint Hurdle has been wanting to get him in, but hasn't really had much of an opportunity. Has been a while. Saturday against the Rockies at PNC Park, the 29th. But a wild one in Washington, D.C., where the Nationals had a fairly large lead. The Mets crept back to tie it, and Kirk Neuenhuis hits a home run off Jonathan Papelbon to give the Mets the lead in the 8th inning. Matt Williams has been criticized for how he's used the bullpen, and recently about not using Papelbon earlier. Well, now he has Papelbon pitch the 8th, and he gives up a home run.
You just said 8th. I'm like, wait, why is he the 8th? But
this ball hit the other way, Polanco, and that'll do it. 1, 2, 3 for Bastardo. Head to the 9th. Bucks up 6-zip. A 6-0 Pirates lead in Cincy, heading to the 9th. Much better story tonight. Yesterday, Pirates fell 3-1. Struggled with defense, and it's kind of lackluster performance. Different this evening, as Ryan Matthews becomes the 5th Reds pitcher. Mauricio Iglesias lasted 3 innings. That was Josh Smith for a couple. Carlos Contreras, Colin Ballister, now Ryan Matthews.
Look at that opponent batting average is well up in the 300s. Don't like that.
Pirates have out hit the Reds 9-5. 2 home runs, 3-run shot for Andrew McCutchen.
Those Redbirds still 6 runs down.
Yeah, they're in the 6th in St. Louis.
Fingers crossed. It's looking like they'll pick up a game tonight.
There's Jay Happ. He'll go tomorrow. Polanco singled in a run, the difference in this ball game, that RBI single in the third to make it 1-0. Pirates added 4 more in that third, and then the home run in the 8th. And the only run the Pirates have needed, I should say, is Andrew McCutchen's 3-run homer made it 4-0. Polanco cracks one toward right field, and that will be extra bases. Over the head of Jay Bruce. Stand-up double for Polanco, his second hit.
Well, he certainly did crack that one.
With 10 hits for the Pirates tonight, 6 of them for extra bases.
Break the ball on the inside part of the plate, actually off the plate just a tad. I love the sound of the bat on that one. Oh. It had a little bit of an echo.
Yeah, with not many people here, you can really hear it.
It's kind of the sound that you hear a lot during the afternoon, the early batting practice. And there's no
before the music and all. Yeah,
it's just quiet.
Yeah,
there'll be a few guys out, maybe around 2 in the afternoon or so, hitting early.
Marte grounds towards short. Polanco scrambles back. Polanco 3 hits, then robbed by Christopher Negron, and grounds out here in the 9th. Pirates wrap up this series from Great American Ballpark tomorrow night. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by W.B. Mason here on Root Sports. J. Happ goes tomorrow night. Be opposed by the rookie, Kivas Sampson.
Oh, if you're in Cincinnati, you're opposed by a rookie.
Yeah, it is the rookie rotation. Saw another one tonight. Iglesias give up 5 runs, 3 innings. Ninth major league appearance for Kivas Sampson tomorrow. And Mark Melancon will get some work. Be coming on for the 9th. Clint Hurdle not terribly concerned about it. He said the way Melancon prepares each and every game and the way he is wired, missing all that time won't affect him as it might others.
He's putting himself through a pretty good workout early this afternoon. Yeah. Working out with the medicine ball. Does stay in excellent shape.
Three and 1. McCutchen struck out his first time up looking. Remember, a runner at third base, infield in, 1 out. Struck out on a pitch away, but then hit a 3-run homer the other way. And Iglesias went outside, and this one too far wide, so McCutchen will get the free pass. On base for the second time. 77 walks for Andrew McCutchen. That is 5th in the National League. That'll help that on-base percentage. He came in 4th behind Bryce Harper, Joey Votto, and Paul Goldschmidt.
Hey, any little help for those numbers, if anything. The voters will be looking at that stuff for MVP.
Sean Rodriguez comes to the plate for the first time tonight, and he bounces one fair inside the third base bag. That brings in one. McCutchen is racing home, and he's going to be held up by Rick Sofield. So Sean Rodriguez gets an RBI double. Sofield essentially calling off the dogs. McCutchen could have scored easily.
Calling off the jam. He had his hands on his hips. Called off the jam.
7-0.
Sean's got to feel better a little bit now after yesterday, getting that, instead of ripping this ball inside the bag, a little better. Tough game for him yesterday.
Another extra base hit. Sean Rodriguez, the reason he was in that lineup yesterday, Leonardo wanted to keep that bat in there. He's 13 for his last 23. Oh, and 2. Eleven hits for the Pirates. Fans react to the strikeout total. That's 11 strikeouts now for the Reds pitching staff.
Free pizza. That's why everybody is very happy.
That was the loudest reaction by far tonight by the Reds fans.
I need to see if we can go find a ticket stub somewhere.
Yeah.
Get something to eat tonight.
There's Josh Harrison.
Is it just a slice or is it a whole piece of pie?
Josh Harrison's family on hand. Cincinnati kid. Jay getting his first at bat. Bit of slow going for Jay Hay since his return off the disabled list. He has just 2 hits in his last 18 at bats. Eleven hits for the Pirates tonight. 7 of them for extra bases. McCutchen on base twice. 3-run homer in the 3rd. And toward right field, but Bruce will make the catch. Harrison lines out to right. Pirates add another. 3 more outs to get. Mark Melanson will get some work.
accounts and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Leading at 7-0. 3 more outs to get. And the Cubs are leading the Cardinals by the same score in the 7th inning in St. Louis. So the Pirates could find themselves just 4.5 back of the Redbirds, and Mark Melancon has to get the final 3 here in the 9th.
Mark's numbers on the year all very, very good. And I always think when a guy hadn't been out there in a while, first hitter or so, how's the control going to be? And that's one of the big things with Mark. That's his major weapon, is the command of that cutter. Be able to put it almost exactly wherever he wants.
Chris Stewart catches now.
But he's got a great cushion to work with. He's just right now getting some work in. Don't want him to get too much work. About a dozen pitches, that'd be just fine.
Yeah, it's that delicate balance there.
Yeah. You want to get him out there, but you don't want him to have a 20-pitch inning, which sometimes closers do. There's nothing on the line. They go out there, and it's just not the same.
Bruce, soft single off of Liriano in the 2nd, lined out in the 4th inning, struck out his last time up. First pitch from Melancon was a strike. This one called ball 2. Boy, how valuable Melancon has been this season. And toward right center field. And a leadoff hit for Jay Bruce.
Was hit all that hard. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Cutter that maybe got in on the bat a little.
Second hit for Bruce.
If he'd hit that hard, it would have been a gap shot for extra bases.
Ron DeJesus Jr. will pinch hit. Ball 1. Ball 2. It is now 8-0 Cubs. Anthony Rizzo with an RBI single in the 7th inning. Michael Wacha went 4 innings, gave up 6 runs on 6 hits. Jason Hamill pitching a 3-hit shutout for the Cubs. The Nationals' last chance, batting in the bottom of the 9th. Down a run to the New York Mets. Two and 2 on the pinch hitter DeJesus. Brian Pena to follow. League leader in saves, Mark Melancon with 43. Obviously not a save situation here. Again, it has been a while. We believe the longest stretch this season between appearances for Melancon. Full count.
In a way, Greg, could be a kind of a good thing. Good time of year, maybe have.
Yeah.
What, a few days off in a row like that, kind of recharge the batteries for the last 3 weeks.
Ten days for Mark Melancon since pitching in competition, and he strikes out to Jesus for the first out here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
That was a cutter, just a. Nope, that's a cutter. Just didn't throw it where he wanted to. Got it upstairs. I thought when I saw the location of the pitch, I was wondering if he just threw a fastball up there. That would be a decent spot for just a straight fastball. I think he just didn't locate that cutter where he wanted to. Didn't matter. Sometimes it's better not to throw it where you want to. It's all about the result.
Runner will take off. Pirates could care less. One ball, one strike. Brian Pena. Pena 1 for 3. 6 hits for the Reds. And now 1 and 2. 15th meeting of the year between the Pirates and the Reds. Bucks 2 outs away from winning their 5th game in the season series and winning their 82nd game of the year. Remember, it wasn't too long ago that was a big deal. 82 wins. This will be the 3rd straight year. Pirates are guaranteed finishing better than 500. They'll be way better than that this year after those 20 long losing seasons, and that man came on board along with Neil Huntington and Frank Coonley and Bob Nutting, and turning this franchise around into one of the top teams in all of baseball. Off of Melancon, and it's going to be 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Pirates, just in case, Clint Hurdle, Todd Thompson head out of the dugout, checking on him.
Like it went off the glove.
Schumacher doubled his lone at bat in the 7th inning. Grounded it inside the first base bag. See that replay of the ball that just was hit.
Oh, it didn't hit the glove. Got him on the outside of the knee.
He sure didn't act like it was hurting him.
Good place to get hit. Wow. That ball's hit hard.
He acted like it was nothing.
Strong knees.
Ball on 1 strike. Archimedes Caminero starting to get up and throw, because as Bob said, you don't want Melancon to throw too many pitches where he's not available tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah, you'd almost
in a 7-0 game.
In a situation like this, kind of have somebody throwing and say, hey, he's going to face 4 hitters, and then
it's almost like a pitch limit.
Yeah,
there's a little squibber. They'll get 1 and not 2, so run scores. That ends the shutout bid. 7-1, give Schumacher an RBI. Well, you'd love to have seen this game end on a double play, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That would have been fun.
The best, yeah.
They did their best. In fact, that would have been the very first double play of this game. But not to be tonight. Jason Bourgeois.
It's all right. 7-1. I'll take that every night with no double plays.
Yep. And now it is 0-2 on Bourgeois. Francisco Liriano is going to go to 10-7, get his first regular season win against the Reds. Won the wild card game a couple of years ago, but 10 regular season starts coming into tonight. Was 0-5. One and 2 on Bourgeois. Melancon ready for his 23rd pitch. Trying to get him to chase. No. Seven runs, 11 hits for the Pirates. 1 run, 7 hits for the Reds. Jung Ho Kang, Andrew McCutchen with home runs. McCutchen's 21st, Kang's 14th. 3-hit night for Starling Marte. Checks. Doesn't go. 3-2. And you wonder what the magic number is in terms of pitch count for Clint Hurdle. Might it be around 25? And if he does not get Bourgeois, then does he go to Caminero? Let's hope it doesn't get to that.
If I would think that good chance he would make the change right now if the game's not over.
Well, it's first and second, and you're right.
Here it comes.
Mark Melancon going to be lifted, and on something he's certainly not used to. But that many pitches, Clint Hurdle wants to have him available tomorrow night, and then with the Brewers coming to PNC Park Thursday, so Archimedes Caminero will be looking for the final out. after giving up a couple of hits and a walk. Gives way to Archimedes Caminero. Looking for the final out. Not a save situation, by the way. First pitch strike to Suarez, and how about this guy at the plate? Suarez. He has struck out each of his 4 at bats. And it's 0-2. Drops a little.
Had to come to this, didn't it?
Yeah, 97 miles an hour, that one. How about he drops a little splitter on him here?
I think they're going to be a little something.
Suarez was 1 for 3 with an RBI single yesterday with a strikeout. He's out in front of the 97-mile-per-hour fastball. And he lines it toward right center.
Give him another fastball.
So this is going to score Schumacher, going to score Bourgeois, and into third base, Suarez. 7-3.
Oh, they didn't go splitter. They didn't go slider. They went back with another fastball. And he hit that one hard.
Two-run triple for Suarez.
You know, he did the same thing that Marte did. He slowed down in the second, saw Polanco drop the ball, and then went to third.
Yeah. But he gets a triple.
Hometown scoring.
When you look at the 2 wins over the Cardinals in St. Louis, the Pirates won 9-3 on Friday. We're leading 9-1 going into the bottom of the 9th inning. Got a little bit sloppy. Ended up giving up a couple runs the other night, Sunday. Pirates were shutting out the Cardinals and raised the Jolly Roger. Joey Votto says, no way. Here comes Brian Price.
Well, it was a foul tip. But did it bounce or was it caught cleanly? That's the question.
Oh, Pirates are celebrating. Handshakes. Here comes the first base umpire and James Hoy. See if he doesn't talk to the home plate umpire. We see that it does.
Yeah, that's a foul tip that
get
bounced.
Fouled off. And